Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. So, first week of 31 days of Zen. And I've got to say, so far, things have gone really well. I'm really pleased with just the opportunity to provide you with a whole lot more content. And of course, it is all content that's very near and dear to my heart. And I'm happy to share it with you. So I am going to just kind of do a little bit of a recap here before we get started, giving the opportunity for, oh, good morning, Alicia. Thank you for being here. I see there's a few others joining you as well. So as far as the week that's just passed, we started things off with the Chinese body clock, as well as on Sunday we had Yo and the Genia here. So you can catch that replay. Good morning, Miriam. Welcome. So you can catch that on the replay. It was a lot of fun, super interesting topic as we discussed pelvic floor health, which is so important to understand not only for day-to-day healthy living, but also how that pertains to your fitness journey and how you can translate that strength energy both into your yoga and your Pilates practice throughout the week. We've talked about forward bending on Monday. That was our practice. We had back bending just on Wednesday, which went really well. We had a good turnout for that. And today we're going to be talking about twisting. Now, on the weekend, we're continuing on with the Chinese body organ clock. That'll be available to you on Saturday on video, as well as Sunday is my second special guest. I'll be interviewing Tina Ferrone from Beyond Yoga Ottawa, who I'll be linking all the contacts. You can check her out ahead of time or even during our interview on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be talking all about owning a yoga studio and the vision behind it, which can be really inspiring, not only if we're talking about yoga studio, but also for anyone who's considering a business, particularly during these times. There's a lot of businesses that have been really hard hit, and Tina's been able to really well pivot her business to virtual studio. So that's gone awesome. Now, as well as next week, we're moving into Pilates. So this week's all about yoga. Next week, we're going into some beginner Pilates, as well as some explanations of what is Pilates, what makes it different from yoga, because the followings of yoga and the followings of Pilates are not always the same group of people. So learning more about it. Uh, and then we will be moving on to continuing with the Chinese body clock and our next guest. Good morning, Anton. Welcome. Nice to have you here. So we will also be sure to check me out on Instagram. There's a lot of inspiration over there too. So this morning, twisting practice. I know you're eager to get going with it, but first I just wanted to talk about some of the benefits and who shouldn't actually engage in a twisting practice. I've got a few props ready to go. I've got my yoga blocks here, as well as a blanket, which can be really handy for some padding and for elevating the hips. But twisting, why do it? Well, when we did forward bending and back bending through this past week, it's really about creating some flexibility in the spine as well as some balancing. Because if we only ever move in one direction, our bodies become very rigid in the opposite direction. So it's really important to provide that balance. The twisting allows to maintain some flexibility in your spine, not only with forward and back movement, so front and back, north and south, as it's sometimes referred to, but also you're getting into that east to west. So twisting will help you to strengthen and to loosen some of those muscles to help you to maintain your range of motion. Really important when we do our twisting, we want to elongate. We want to maintain length in our spine. So the people who should avoid twisting are people who have some serious disc problems. It would be really helpful to talk to your healthcare professional first if you do have some serious back or disc problems. People who experience some mild back pain will actually benefit from twisting a considerable amount, especially if your lower back pain maybe comes from a lot of sitting. Excuse me. Just staying hydrated here as I have a lot to tell you. Now, excuse me, ladies who might be pregnant also should be careful of twisting. It's okay to twist while you, oh, good morning, Yolanda. It's great to see you. As during pregnancy, we don't want to create too much compression to the growing baby. So we want to maintain open twists rather than closed twists. And I'll tell you the difference as we go through them, as well as, excuse me, getting so choked up here this morning. We want to ensure that when we're twisting, we're maintaining that length and some engagement of those bandhas in yoga, so the pelvic floor, the lower abdomen, to really support the spine when we do twist. It's going to be really helpful if you have digestive issues because you're really massaging those organs. We talked about that when we were forward bending, when we're back bending, and now the twisting helps you to rebalance the spine, but will help you to create some squeeze to those organs, helps to massage them, to kind of get things moving, which is going to aid the digestion as well as elimination. So good morning, everyone. As you're coming in this morning, just a little chit chat before we get going with our practice. You will find that was really, really helpful for digestive and elimination issues, as well as the nervous system. So it's a really great de-stressor because our nervous system runs through the spine. So when you are twisting in both directions, you're really stimulating that. So you're really enhancing that sense of peace, of calm, because that's usually the way that we incorporate the twist throughout the practice, starting off more gentle and moving into some deeper twists if your condition allows it. And we always finish up the practice with some twisting because it just helps to restore from the side bending, the back bending, the forward bending. It will help you to restore your alignment. Good morning, Sam610. Do be sure, for those of you who have a YouTube channel, to check each other out. You can say hello to each other and you can go to each other's channels. By all means, you might even want to do a little bit of a plug for what your channel does to catch some interest of your fellow yogis this morning. So with that, let's get started. So you will go ahead. You don't necessarily need the props, but they're certainly handy to have. Should you just feel like you need a little extra boost. I find having a folded blanket can be really helpful to sit on, and we're going to begin with a little bit of a preparation meditation, as it's always great to create a little bit of a separation, or maybe in some cases a lot of a separation from where you have been so far today, everything else that you've got going on for the rest of the day, so that you can just bring your attention inside and quieten everything. So with that, make sure that you're comfortably seated. If you find cross-legged doesn't really work for you, stretch your legs out. Find the adjustment that works. You can even sit up against a wall if that is more comfortable for you, till you become more and more familiar. Now, as we bring the backs of the hands over the knees, the thighs, take a little bit of a shoulder roll here and just bring them up to the ears and then let them slide down and well away. Keeping your heart center open as you broaden through your collarbones, and you can close the eyes or just keep them open a little slit, looking down the bridge of the nose. So breathing smoothly as you just simply become aware of your breath. Quite often we breathe so shallow because we're not even thinking about it. So this is your opportunity to start to draw some fresh oxygen into the body, drawing it deep into the belly as feels comfortable. So you may find at first you're just observing, you're just watching the breath moving in and out, and gradually it just becomes deeper, longer. We want to be mindful of our exhales as well as our inhales. When you breathe out fully, you make more room for your next inhalation. Breathing in and out through the nose is going to help you to really draw more oxygen from that breath that you're taking in. Helps you to absorb it into the lungs, into the bloodstream. The longer exhales are going to help you to make more space for your next inhale and to detoxify the body. Use the exhale to help you to relax. And as you feel more centered, more present, take a moment to set an intention. Maybe it is to really give yourself this time, truly let everything else be set aside during this time period. This time is dedicated to you. So whatever draws you to the practice today, set the intention. And with your mind set, let's begin as you take a big, beautiful inhale. Good morning, Jason. Welcome, Jason Bailey. Happy to see you here on this Friday morning. Everyone, do make sure, as I mentioned earlier, check out the channels that are tuning in to this practice and just to see what they're all about and supporting your fellow YouTubers as well. So from here, let's take another breath and we gradually stretch the side body before we come into our twist. So we're just going to soften into the right side here. It doesn't matter which side you're choosing, but we just want to open things up a little bit more. So feel your reach through the fingertips and keep some space between your earlobe and the top of your shoulder, and then floating yourself as gracefully as you can to bring your opposite arm up and bringing the other one down this time. So same thing here, reaching up and over, softening in the neck, breathing into your side body here. You'll feel the difference as you compress one side, the side that you're leaning into, and then the opposite side that you're stretching. You'll feel how you really can bring more oxygen, more breath in there. So as we float ourselves up, you can float that arm back up and exhale it down. A few shoulder rolls here just to loosen up the body a little bit more. Breathing in to scoop those arms up, bringing the palms together, and as you press them toward the heart center, we're going to separate the fingers here and interlace them. Then press the palms away and stretch into that upper back. Pull your belly button towards your spine. Breathing in to bring the arms up, sliding the shoulders down, and cupping the back of the head. So just at the base of your skull, open up those elbows and bring your gaze upward. Let the knees open and breathe here as you part those elbows and just let the head be heavy. Savoring your breath. Feeling that stretch in the shoulders is absolutely amazing. And then as you float the arms down, bring them around behind you, maybe taking a hold of opposite hands or even opposite elbows, pressing the heart forward and upward. So breathe, let the legs relax a little bit more if they will, pressing the chest forward and upward. And then release that. Bring those shoulders right up to the ears for a little scrunch upward, and then release them back down again. Breathing in to float up, look up. And as you exhale, take your left hand directly in front of you, so right to the middle. Take the back hand and see if you can bring it in line with your tailbone. Good morning, 2K Fragrant Lifestyle. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Started out the week together and we're finishing up the week together. That's awesome. As you look back past your back shoulder, remain tall. So that's really important in your twists. Unwind yourself. Float the arms up again as you inhale. And as you exhale, bringing your right hand in front this time, replacing where the left one was. Bring the left one behind you again, staying tall, 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 so you can feel yourself pressing into those sit bones, looking over that back shoulder, and unwind. Come on back. So from here, let's make our way onto the hands and knees. So we're going to come into table as we open the hands nice and wide and further massaging and lubricating the spine. It's so important to prepare it, especially as we will really focus on those twists. So breathing in to lift your gaze upward, and then breathing out to tuck your tailbone. So that classic cow cat that feels amazing to the spine. You know, when you get up in the morning, if you have nothing else as far as time to dedicate to a little bit of wellness, this would be a great one to just gradually incorporate more movement. And this also helps to, along with the twists, to get more blood flow, more lubrication into those joints. So as we slowly position those knees underneath the hips, press through the tops of your feet, take a big breath in and reach up with your right arm, looking up to that hand, and then take a few rotations with the shoulder. So you're going to take it easy here. Make sure that your palm is honoring the direction that you're circling in. So as you come forward, your hand points away from you. As you come down, it points towards you. So it's just a nice easy rotation. We're going to do one more just like that, reaching up, look up, send your hips to the right a little bit, and then sliding your hand through to thread the needle. And this is our first twist. So it's a pretty gentle twist. Now, if you're finding that maybe it's not that gentle for you, you may want to place a block or even a pillow cushion that you might have underneath the head. So it's going to make it a little bit more shallow. Now, for those of you who want to continue to deepen it, you can press firmly into your left hand to get more of that twisting. So go easy. We're just warming things up. And if you want even more, you can reach and extend that top arm up, maybe bringing it across the lower back. And you're just pressing lightly into the back of that hand to open up the chest a little bit more. And breathing here as you hold it, relaxing your face. So don't tense yourself up. Your yoga practice is meant to relax and to soothe, not to stress you or strain you. We will have, not to say that we won't have any challenges along the way, because we definitely will, but you listen to your body and do what feels good to you. Now we move on to the other side as we reach up with the left arm. So you can see there's a lot of opening to the other limbs as you reach up, breathing in to reach it up and breathing out to circle it around. So again, the palm faces toward me, and then as I turn, there's a little rotation in that palm, turns away from me and then back toward me. So just honoring that natural range of motion in the shoulder and not straining or struggling with it. Linking the movement to your breathing is going to really help you to warm things up. And as you reach it up again this time, hold it up, reach through those fingertips, and then take that hand right through, threading it to the opposite side. Ear comes to the mat or to your block, to your pillow. Press into your right hand. You should feel a really good stretch through the side body. So if you want more, reach up, bring the hand behind your back, open up that shoulder. So there's a tendency for the shoulder to roll forward, and we just want to open that up a little bit more. So you extend that up, take the hand down. Let's walk the hands away, so taking them further forward. And from here, we're just going to slide the hips forward. So you come into half plank to start with. Open up the chest a little bit here and slowly lower yourself down. So keep the hands where they are, lengthen through the tops of your feet, and press into those hands to lift yourself up here. Press into your hands and knees to come back, and we ease into a nice stretch, child's pose. So you might add a little sway here from side to side, just kind of massaging movement. And as you move forward again, tuck the toes under. We're coming into our first downward facing dog. So with your downward dog, if it doesn't feel good, it takes some getting used to with downward dog. If it doesn't feel good, you can always stay in table on all fours on your hands and knees. Spread the shoulder blades apart and kind of pump the legs out, and add a little shimmy to the hips, maybe a little shift of the hips to one side, to the other side. If you're able to straighten both legs, you certainly don't have to, especially for this first one. You might find that you're a little stiffer and you have to keep the knees bent. But if you are able at any point to straighten both legs, see if you can lift your toes up, and that's going to really help you to deepen that stretch through the backs of the legs. Feels amazing. And from here, we're going to soften the knees and walk the feet to meet the hands. Inhaling halfway up, exhaling to fold, and reverse swan dive. Opening things up, bringing the hands to the heart as we come into a really nice tall stance. So with your feet underneath your hips and you're feeling really grounded here, I invite you to really engage through those abdominal muscles. So you want to feel the kind of an upward lift of your pelvic floor, and then even below the belly button, it's like you're pulling in and lifting up a little bit. From there, relax the shoulders and maintaining that strong stance. Inhale, the arms up, look up. As you exhale, let's take the right arm forward and the left one back while we keep the hips squaring forward. So try to press that left hip forward and then bring it up, inhale. And let's do the same thing to the opposite side. So keeping your pelvis as squared as you can. It's going to want to twist to the side and it may a little bit, but just see what you can do as far as keeping it nice and square, nice and steady. Breathing in. So this is really going to help you to get flexibility, not only lower back, mid back, but it also helps to kind of carve those waist muscles. As you lengthen in here, a little back bend, use your exhale to come into a forward fold. As you bend both of your knees here in your forward fold, if you do have a block, you might want to use it. As I've mentioned before, there's 3 settings on them, so whatever makes your reach easier if you have one.
If not, not to worry. You can take one hand on your leg instead where it's comfortable for you to reach. But with both knees bent, we'll place the right hand on the block or on the floor or on your leg. Bring your left hand to your hip and then straighten your left leg, sending that hip up to the sky so you naturally start to twist a little bit. Good morning, Eris. Nice to see you. Welcome on this Friday morning. So you want to have an alignment here of your bottom arm, your top hand reaching through your fingertips. Lovely to see you join us. Happy to have you here. And as we bend the left leg, let's bring both knees to bend once again, placing the left hand either on your block or on your leg. Same one, opposite one. Start to straighten that leg as you bring your hand, right hand to the right hip, turning your body to the right as you extend and bring up your right arm. And you'll get a great stretch in the back of the leg, and you're starting to get that effect of massaging the gut, great for gut health as well as all the digestive and elimination benefits that you get. So from here, take an inhale and flatten your back. Draw the navel to your spine, inhaling. Exhaling, let's fold. Let's reverse the swan dive, reaching nice and tall, bring the hands to the heart, and let's sink into chair. So firing up those legs as well as the core and tucking the tailbone, maybe exploring a little bit more depth if possible as we stay nice and open, sinking a little heavier into those hips. Breathe in and breathe out. Fold. Let's reverse our swan dive once again, inhaling. So starting to feel stronger and stronger here as we awaken the body. Let's inhale, and as we exhale, you can either walk, or if you're feeling pretty good, maybe hop to bring the feet back to your plank position. From here, we lower down, maybe just above the mat, not all the way to the mat. Depends what feels good for you as we move into an upward facing dog. So breathe, open up the chest, sink the hips here, nice and easy. Let's add a little twist here as we drop the right hip to the mat. And bring it back to the middle. Drop the left one to the mat. Pause. Bring it back center. Open the heart. Roll through the tops of the feet or just untuck your toes as you come up to your downward facing dog once again. Giving the head a little bit of a turn here side to side. Now bringing your feet to a comfortable position. So you might walk them in a little bit more perhaps. And you're going to take your right hand, place it at the center top of your mat. Then take your left hand, bring it to your right leg. Bring it to the lowest point that you can comfortably reach. Take a hold of it and then look up past the right underarm and hold that as you breathe here. Find the peace between maybe a little bit of struggle, a little bit of challenge, and the peace that comes from finding that balance. As you release it, take both your hands apart again, back to your classic downward dog, and bringing your left hand when you're ready to the center top of your mat, and then taking your right hand to the lowest point you can reach. So maybe that's your knee, your thigh, your calf, your heel, ankle, whatever works for you. Give yourself a pull. Look underneath that left underarm, sending those hips up. Breathe. And release it. As you square up the body, again, give a head a little turn side to side here, shaking it out, yes, no, a few times, lifting up on the balls of both feet, walking or hopping to bring those feet to the top of your mat. Inhale with a flat back, exhale to fold. As you reverse your swan dive, scoop those arms wide open, bring the palms together, and let them land at your heart center.
Taking a moment here to pause, maybe reconnect with that intention that you set at the beginning of the practice so that you don't let your mind wander and really keep yourself on track for why you're here this morning, why you're on your mat. So let's take another big inhale. Open up. Good morning, Derek. That's awesome. Happy to see you here. Looking up, bring the hands to the heart and sink into your chair pose. Uttanasana. Or Uttanasana, sorry. As you sink the hips, tuck the tailbone, lift the heart. And so Derek, welcome. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're just coming in now, let's see if we can sink a little lower. By all means, it is a great opportunity for you guys to meet each other, have a little bit of interaction, maybe in between our poses, or if you need to take a little bit of a break. From here, we fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, little back bend at the top, and exhale, bring those hands to the heart. As you sink, and hope to see you soon again, Yolanda. As we bring our weight into our left foot, see if you can stay in your chair and pick up your right foot. So you're challenging your balance here, squeezing that heel towards your bottom, and then take a big step back. So bringing the heel down as we move into a warrior one. So you want to have the feet aligned with the hips, maybe a little bit wider if you need to for your balance and steadiness. Take an inhale, lift the heart. And as you exhale, we're going to add a twist here, bringing the right arm forward and the left arm back, staying nice and tall. Now, if it's a bit too much with you having your heel all the way to the floor, you can make this a lunge instead. So let's unwind, come back through the middle, breathe in and breathe out as we twist to open up to the other side. Press that front knee open. Bring it back through the middle again. Inhale. Reset. Exhale. Let's do it again. Twisting to the left. Relaxing the shoulders down. And unwind. Bring it back. Inhale. Exhale. Open to the right. And inhale to the center. Exhale. Open to the left. And this time, let's bring that front hand right underneath the shoulder to coming into a nice easy twist, maybe coming onto the ball of that back foot to make it more of a low lunge twist, looking up to that top hand and bring it down. So let's step back, bringing the left leg maybe to a 3-limb plank if you want a little extra zing here, or just a regular plank. Lower it down and scoop it through to open up. Breathe in and breathe out. Take it back. Walking yourself back to your downward dog. Spread those hands wide open here. Give the head that little turn. So you always want to find peace in between your poses. Restore that balance. And when you are ready, feet float or walk to the top of the mat. Inhale. Nona Grace, good morning. Happy Friday to you. So lovely to see you again. I hope that your yoga practice is really coming along. It's really nice to see you showing up. I know that you are wanting to take good care of your body. So welcome and listen to your body as we progress. So some of these we've warmed up here and we're moving on. We're adding on. So let's take another big breath in. Scoop those arms up, exhale, sink to your chair position. So this is going to be as deep as you want to make it. The most important thing is your form. So you could be up here if you don't have quite the strength in the legs or flexibility to come down lower, but you want to have the whole foot really anchored, your core is active, and sinking as low as you have the availability. And if you get tired in between, that's understandable. So take breaks when you need them. Now we're going to add on our balance here. So we're going to bring
the weight into the right foot as we pick up the left one. So you're squeezing that left heel towards your bottom, but you're staying in your chair as best as you can. And from here, we're going to step way back with the left foot. So bringing your back heel down. If you prefer, you can keep the heel off the floor. So totally optional. Come on up, warrior one or a high lunge. So you decide what's going to work best for you. Let's take an inhale here. And as we exhale, it's all about twisting this morning. As we exhale, we come into our twist, looking to that back hand if we can. You're going to find one side is easier than the other. Breathe in and then breathe out, open up. Now this is an open twist. When we twist to the other side in this position, hey, good morning, how low can you go? Well, we're just still warming up, but we are going to go pretty low. Bring those arms up again. Exhale. Welcome, Paul. Nice to see you. And get the shoulders over top of your hips. Unwind, inhale. And exhale, open up. So these open twists, ideal for those who might need to have a more gentle approach to their twisting. This one is a closed twist, so that one always more challenging. I find that I've got more rigidity on this side. So I want to pay attention to that. And from here, I'm going to take that front hand under the shoulder, reaching up. So staying with that heel down, maybe coming up onto the ball of the foot, reaching up, looking up. And as I bring the hand down, I make my way into either regular plank, or if I want a little extra again, 3-limb plank, lower it down to chaturanga, scoop it through, upward facing dog, and take it back. Downward facing dog. Thank you, Derek. And good, I'm glad you're going to do this practice with me. That's a nice thing about these lives. You can do it with me. We can add some feedback, some requests. I'm open to requests, or you can watch it later. Come back to it. Come back to it as many times as you like. So from this downward facing dog, let's reach the right leg up. 3-legged dog. Bend that leg. Again, don't forget, if you need to, you can do this from your table. So onto the hands and knees instead of in this position. From here, let's reach that leg back and let's step the foot to the top of the mat. So as we plant that foot down, getting nice and low here, let's bring the back knee to the floor. Press through the top of that foot. So really getting into nice deep lunge, but we're going to reach the arms up. And as you bring the palms together, let's lift the heart and take the opposite elbow, so left elbow outside the right leg, to press and bring those hands toward your heart center, looking past the right shoulder. As you unwind, come on up, reach it up, inhale. And exhale, bring the hands down to the inside of that leg and walk that foot out. So one of the things is that as we do this, my goodness, there's a million possibilities that come through my mind. So it is really a challenge to choose where or just which poses you're going to benefit from. There's so many good ones. So from here, if you're able to, now this is where you could use your blocks too. You could have them so that you can come down part way, or you can stay on your hands. So totally acceptable to do that. We all come to the practice from different experience, different areas of concern. So if you're able to get down onto those forearms, you can take your right hand. We're going to add a twist again as we place the hand on the inner thigh and then turn the body. Let your shoulder, your right shoulder, really slide down. Actually, you want to make sure both of them are well away from your ears. And as you do this, you are going to be in more of an open twist, but in this one, we really have a lot of focus on both of the hips. So we're limbering up the hips to help us to have better range
in our lower back. So to bring the hand back down again, let's see if we can walk that foot over to the left side this time. So if you're familiar with Pigeon Pose, this would be it. If you're not, you're getting introduced to it. You're going to have your shin moving more toward parallel to the top edge of your mat. You've got the back leg kind of sneaking maybe a little further away, and you're keeping your hips squared up. So breathe in, and as you breathe out, working your way down to where it feels good for you. Again, you can stay up on your hands, totally acceptable. Melt the pelvis down. If you're able to, you can let your forehead come down to your mat, your hands. If you want to add a little bit more depth to it, you could bring both arms alongside your body. So that is going to create more compression for not only the hip joint, but even for your abdomen here. You've got the liver over on your right side. That's getting a nice bit of massage with the pancreas right underneath it. And from here, we press back up again, but we keep the legs in the same position. Now, if you've had enough and you need to come out of the pigeon pose, you can do this on your back as well. But we're going to add our twist, of course, because this practice is all about twisting. So I'm going to take my left arm, so reaching it up, reaching that left arm, keeping the hips square, taking my left elbow all the way across, kind of in line with my right knee. Open up that palm, place my right palm on top, and come into a prayer twist as I look past that back shoulder. So breathe, look past the shoulder, and soften up with each and every exhale. And then unwind and come on back. Making yourself to plant those hands, ground them. I'm glad that you like this. I love this one too, Miriam. It is awesome. And what's even better than a full pigeon is a double pigeon. Love that one too. Lift those hips up to the sky and reach your left leg up and back. As you stand and square up the hips here, reach through your tippy toes, bring the knee in and pull the belly in. Step that foot to the top of your mat. So once again, we ease into a nice low lunge where we are sinking the hips and allowing the right hip, especially in this instance, to melt down. And from there, you can bring the arms up, bring them up by the ears, lengthen, open up the heart. And as you bring the palms together to your heart, let's bring the left elbow or right elbow outside the left knee and press to open up again. So you're nice and solid on that front foot. It might be a little bit of wobbling there. And you're trying to get your hands to move toward the middle of your chest. Ooh. And as you do that, it's a combination of some strengthening on one side, some stretching on the other side. Looking past your shoulder. So if you use your eyes, it's always helpful for getting deeper in a twist as you let it go. So that's definitely a closed twist. So for any ladies who might be expecting, you'll want to avoid that one. Breathe in, get long, and breathe out. Bring your hands to the inside of your foot and walk it over to the outer edge. Double pigeon is, actually we do it, if you remember in our yin practices, it is called, what's it called now? Let me think about it for a moment. Got lots of thoughts going through my head, but I will come up with that name. So again, you're coming up or coming down onto your elbows, whether you've got your blocks there or your forearm, your hands, and you are going to press, and you're going to take your left hand this time
to your knee and start to open into your twist. So this one is nice and spacious. The double pigeon in yin is called square pose, if you remember that one, or it's also called in a yan practice fire log sometimes. And it's really, you bring your, let's say you've got, it's kind of like a cross-legged, so you have your left foot on top of your right knee, just above the knee joint, and then you would have your right foot under your left knee joint. So the legs are stacked, and it's more intense than your regular pigeon because you've got both of them doing at the same time. And it is awesome for improving flexibility. So as we move back up, we're going to walk that left foot over to the right side. So just take your time, bring it to where it's available to you. You may find that you have to bring it a little bit closer to your hip, which is quite okay. It's more about what's going on back here. So you want to make sure that your sacrum here is nice and level as you adjust that front shin, and you might have to kind of wiggle a little bit. You could use your blanket here. I found the block, if you have one, pillow, cushion can work, but the blanket can be really helpful underneath your sit bone so that you're not twisting. You're actually able to stay nice and level, so it allows you to get a deeper stretch. Sometimes what I see is, yeah, it can be a screamer in your mind, of course. I know what you mean. It's intense. That double pigeon. Now, as you position yourself here through the hips, you want to allow the sense of squaring up. So what I'll see quite often in class is a lot of twisting. Good morning, Paul. Welcome. Happy Friday to you. We're well warmed up now. We are into a deeper stretching, but it's all about twisting this morning. So from our pigeon here, we work our way to bring the right elbow over in front or near the left knee. We're going to open up that palm and then take the right hand and press them together to get a really beautiful twist. So this is going to further help you to square up your hips. But yeah, a lot of the times what I'll see is a lot of collapsing kind of into the floor on pigeon where the hips are really crooked. And, you're still getting a stretch. I can't debate that, but you're not getting you're not targeting as well as you could if you used your props when needed. So from here, a little bit more pressure. Remember, it's about using your eyes to look so that you can get a little deeper perhaps. And your breath. Don't forget about the breath. It helps you to calm and to soothe. So from here, let's tuck those back toes under and make our way into downward dog. Ooh, so you may have to kind of walk it out a little bit before we move on to really get that opening of the blood flow back into the joints because of the length of time that we stretch that out for. And then moving forward into our high plank. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lower down and press through the tops of your feet and lifting up into your back bend. So from here, we just hang out a little bit longer for this one. We were quite a while into that forward fold, so we want to counterbalance that. Take a big inhale here, and as you exhale, we come down. And this time we'll make our way onto the forearms, coming into Sphinx. Now to add a little bit extra spice, you can bring one heel toward the body here, squeezing it in, maybe even reaching through the hand to see if you can take a hold of the foot and try to draw that knee in toward your left one. And then release it. Come on back to your Sphinx, or just stay in Sphinx the whole time. My goodness, it's all about what your body needs. So from here, if you want that extra, I love
to get that extra stretch through the front of the hips, the hip flexors. You can stay here or you can press up. Bring that foot in. Feels amazing. Breathe and let it go. Come on down. Take another inhale and press it back into child's pose. I have one more real good one for you before we start to wind it down, literally winding it down, since we're about twisty. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under from our downward facing dog. And we are going to walk the hands toward the back of the mat. So as you slowly unroll yourself here, stacking the spine, bringing your shoulders up to the ears for a nice shoulder roll, and then release it. So from here, I'm just going to move this out of the way so you can see more clearly. And I actually recently purchased this new mat. It's made out of cork. It feels quite luxurious. Just the way it grips. They're supposed to be more sanitary as well, which will be really important when we go back to the studio. So from here, we stand nice and tall, and we're going to work on some balance. Now you do what you need to do, stop where you need to stop, but we're going to start onto the left leg. So I'm bringing my right knee into the body here. So find your balance first. And of course, the thicker surface you're on, the more challenging this is. So if you're on a hardwood floor, it's going to be easier than if you're on carpet and with a thicker yoga mat. So from here, I'm going to soften up my standing leg and cross the ankle. So we just did our pigeon. So we are going to come back to a standing pigeon here. So as we come into balancing, bring the hands to the heart. You could have your hands out to the sides, if you needed to make your balance a little bit easier. Now staying here, which is challenging enough, or bringing the elbow toward your foot to get deeper. Of course, one side is going to be easier than the other. To press those hands to your heart center. Pausing here. So take your time. As you can see, not feeling that easy for me this morning. And it's always good to have a little bit of a challenge. Pressing it here. A little bit of wobble. Maybe turning your gaze. I don't think that's a good idea for me this morning. And then release it. Now, if you want to get really adventurous, you can bring the hands down to your mat. And as you bend your standing leg, wrapping that foot around the back of the other arm, bringing a bend to both elbows as you make your way into a little bit of a flying pigeon. Picking up that back foot and bring it back down again. So, a little playfulness is always a good thing. Let's make our way back into our forward fold here. Give yourself a moment of peace. Give yourself a hug, which is soothing and calming to the nervous system. And slowly unroll. Come on up. Coming back to standing nice and tall. You like that one, Miriam? We've got one more side to go. So that's always the good thing is we only have two sides. So that's as far as we're going to take that. So standing nice and tall in your mountain pose once again. Let's take a big breath in. And as you bring the hands to your heart, bringing your weight onto the right foot. And you're going to pick up that left one and cross the ankle over. So again, take your time. Feel your grounding. So you're bending your standing leg. Now you could do just a regular chair here. I forgot to mention that on the first side because make it a lot easier having both feet on the floor. Or you could just do a tree pose if you want to challenge your balance. But gradually working to bring my left elbow onto the inner foot, about the middle of my foot, as I press the hands. So if you fall out here, I totally get you.
Press those hands firmly. Maybe you can bring your gaze over, making it even more challenging. And as we release the hands to the floor, working them to bring a flat palm down, and then wrapping the top of that left foot around your right tricep, bending both legs, and see if you can make it into a flying pigeon. And come on into kneeling position here, sitting on the heels. Take a moment to capture yourself, to regain your poise. And let's take a big inhale. Reach it up, and as you exhale, bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, and slowly start to tuck the chin in. Bring the crown of the head onto your mat, and let the hands come away from that lower back. And then slowly let it go, and roll out the shoulders. Let's move onto a seated position. So as you can see, it's called a yoga practice because what we do is we practice. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about trying and having fun along the way. Not taking yourself too seriously. So important. So from here, you'll want to have, if you do have yoga blocks or some sort of support, you'll want to have it handy as you make your way onto your back. So from here, let's roll it down and bring the back into neutral position. So you might have to kind of pick up your bottom and then place it down again, wiggle the hips a little bit, press through the back of your head and walk the feet in. Bending those knees, opening up through the heart. So we want to draw the shoulder blades a little bit, maybe even walk them toward each other. And as you lift the hips up, you can slide up that block underneath the pelvis. Give yourself a nice neutral stretch here. Not quite neutral, it's a little bit of a back bend, but it feels very balancing to the forward bending that we were just doing for some time. And as you remain here, you can stay in your supported bridge, or if you want to get a deeper stretch, you can take the hands, bring them alongside the ears, and press to come into a wheel pose. And from there, really stretching to get some length into the front lines of your body. You want to be here for about 5 breaths, whichever back bend variation you choose. And as you make your way out, you slowly lower the head, tuck your chin in, and bring your knees into the body. A little bit of rocking from side to side. Taking a moment for an inversion as you bring the legs up over your hips. Bring the hands over the shoulders. Give the toes a wiggle. Give the fingers wiggle, a little circling of the ankles as well as your wrists. Very challenging, especially on carpet. You'll land your right and the yoga mat on top. With the underlay of the carpet, man, it's really challenging. I miss those days on the hardwood floor. As you bring the hands to the inner soles of your feet, you can grab a hold of them and come into your happy baby, massaging out that low back as well as pressing to open up the hips. It's amazing though, when you do challenge your balance on a more difficult surface, when you go back to that firm, solid surface, it makes it so easy. You've really trained your brain, that proprioception in the body to adapt much quicker to a more solid floor because you were doing it on
uneven surface. So from here, you can stretch out your right leg as you continue to hold on to the left one, and right hand on that left knee. Open the arm and then take it across. So moving into your twist as you perhaps bring the arm alongside the ear. You can take your gaze past your shoulder, close the eyes, breathe easy, and soften up your face. And relax, enjoy. We move toward our final pose or resting relaxation pose. It is amazing to me how quickly the time we have together goes by as you bring that knee in, squeeze, and as you extend the left leg, you can hold on to the right one, give it a little squeeze, make sure your spine is nice and neutral, and open up your right arm to take the left one across. It is, there's so much that I want to do, and it feels like so little time. So I am very much enjoying doing these lives several times a week. It just gives the opportunity to really get into more content than just doing videos. So I'm open to doing more of these even after the 31 days of Zen. Today's day 7 of the 31 days. So how quickly a week goes by. And then as you unwind, come on back, and you just have a flood of fresh new blood that comes into that area that was being compressed. And you can bring the arms at your sides, turning the palms upward and closing the eyes as you settle in peacefully. Feeling awareness within your body. So you may first take your awareness down to your feet and feel the backs of your heels ever so heavy into your mat. Feel that nice stretch to the arches of your feet as the toes turn outward a little bit. Feel the greater ease in the hips that's come from twisting side to side. So there's a sensation of your body being a little bit heavier on your mat, back of your pelvis, your shoulder blades. Breath moves so smoothly and much more effortlessly now. Just relax. You may feel ever so slight of a movement of the belly, the chest, the ribs. And maybe not much at all as you become more restful. Feel that neutral alignment of the neck, your cervical spine. Feel the arms relaxing more easily with palms turned up, the fingers softly curled in. And all of the facial features relax. Lips lightly sealed together. Breath moving softly through the nostrils. Thoughts floating by, always moving, never stopping. And as you feel the positive vibration through the body,
You'll start to bring yourself to life. Slowly, gently, breathing more deeply. If you don't need to, you could stay right where you are. Continue relaxing, knowing that as you do come back to life, you can indulge into a big stretch. Further opens up the body and an extra little bit of back massaging. Perhaps rolling through your side or rocking forward and back a few times. To eventually bring yourself to seated. So as you do, whether you stay here a little longer or you are just going to move into the rest of your day, bring the hands to your heart before you do move on to give yourself the time to appreciate this gift that you have given yourself today. Feel that positive effect on your mind, your body, inside and out. And may you enjoy the blessings that come from dedicating time to your wellness. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone who is still here watching and participating, I hope. I invite you to join me this weekend for Chinese Body Clock tomorrow, as well as Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when I have that amazing interview with Tina and finding all about running a yoga studio, what's involved virtually, bricks and mortar. And stay tuned next week for our Pilates practices as we move through the week with lots of strengthening. And then we will come back the following week with some yoga. So balancing it all, Pilates and yoga. You're very welcome, Yo. Thank you so much, everybody. Have an amazing weekend. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone.